The live-action dating genre is back on the Switch, letting you fall in love with a Chinese princess or a deadly assassin? Here is my review of Love is All Around 2 for the Nintendo Switch and backwards compatible with Nintendo Switch 2. First thing to note, this is not a sequel to the events of Love is All Around 1. Many actresses have returned from both Love is All Around 1 and Ladies School Prince, but it's a completely separated story in a different time period. I'll admit the moment I saw Xiao Xiao, I immediately said, wait, is that Serana? And funny enough, she even played a similar type of character in this game. But it's more akin to you seeing Scarlett Johansson in Jurassic World Rebirth and remembering her from the Marvel movies as Black Widow. This game's plot is set in ancient China. You play as a man whose village burned down and is now trying to infiltrate nearby clans to find the one responsible, incidentally becoming intimately close with the residents of those clans. Starting off being locked in a storage room, befriending a deadly assassin, all the way to earning the favor of a royal princess. Overall, I would say this story is decent. It goes back and forth between the bonding scenes and the village investigation plotline, and each of the girls feels very different in their connection with the protagonist. One thing I did like was that each chapter is like an arc with different girls. While the assassin shows up across the whole game, each chapter is focused on a different clan and therefore a different pair of heroines. On the flip side of things, it feels like the village investigation kind of takes a back seat to the bonding events. Regarding the routes and endings, I think all 6 are done pretty well. I did have a favorite in the assassin during my first run, but I really enjoyed what they did with all of them. They feel very different in what paths they take, and it made me want to see all of the endings. Especially once I realized that Lou's final end is the one you need to unlock everybody else's endings to achieve. It's not an overly serious story though. It's very goofy and really funny at times. And that's mostly with the acting and not the story itself. It's rather silly, from the camera looking to the ground each time you swap scenes, to characters being threatened with swords and just pushing them away like they're little toys and they don't even care that they're possibly on the brink of death. Now, there are some events that are clearly there to be entertaining, like Xiao Xiao trying to get out of her arranged marriage early in the story by, and I quote, eat until she is fat and hideous so her marriage partner breaks it off himself. When it comes to gameplay, this is a live-action dating sim. Like a visual novel, you watch scenes play out and make dialogue choices to raise the affinity of different heroines you interact with. It's the same formula as Love is All Around 1, so it feels more like an interactive movie than a video game. All of the scenes are on autoplay because they're literally recorded videos that real actresses did with a camera crew. You can pause scenes as they play out, but you're really just watching them until you're prompted with a dialogue choice. And we still have the same looping video when you get to those choices, showing a good 5 to 10 seconds of recorded video that will be on repeat and loop while you think about your choice. All of those choices will affect affinity with the various heroines, and you'll eventually be able to go onto character routes. Those choices requiring you to either have gotten specific intimate events to spawn earlier in the game, or have their affinity above a certain amount. Thankfully, this is very easy to do with the timeline jumping feature, so you can redo earlier events to boost up that affinity. And you don't have to completely replay the game for others, as their higher affinities won't go down that much by doing other choices. You can easily have multiple characters all with really high affinity at one time, just so you make the right dialogue choice when the route spawns so you can actually move on to that route. The only downer is that, like the first game, you have no way of checking affinity levels outside of replaying a chapter ending and having the end result screen show you. Outside of the timeline, we do have a few interesting extra features. The first are letters that you receive on the main menu from the different girls. These will pop up after a certain amount of time, not story progress. You can reply to them and eventually get new letters in, having the heroine talk to you and send you extra pictures. And I say it is based on time because after I got Awning's ending, I had only gotten her first letter. But as I played the game, I got her second and third just from opening up the game on a different day. There's also behind the scenes footage you can unlock. Whenever you complete an ending, you get that heroine's videos showing them with a camera crew filming scenes from the game. I really liked looking at these, especially the blooper friendly ones like this actress playing a little head nod game with the camera guy. And that brings us to content and length, which is around the same as we had in the first game. I got my first ending after playing for around 5.5 hours, and it was 9 hours by the time I'd gone back for 2 other endings, skipping any previously seen events and only watching the new ones. Next up is presentation, which I think looks fine. We have the same issue here as the other live-action dating sims. On both Switch and Switch 2, the video looks good for the most part, but does get a bit blurry and pixelated because of the compression on certain videos. We don't get any of those horribly distorted videos like what we saw in Knowledge or No Lady, but it does get blurry from time to time. Performance I had no issues with, no freezing or crashing, and that weird stuttering from Love Is All Around 1 was not present here on Switch or Switch 2. That brings us to battery life. Love Is All Around 2 gives the original and light models a battery range of 4 to 6 hours, the V2 and OLED models get 7 to 8 hours, and the Switch 2 gets 4 hours and 20 minutes. In conclusion, Love Is All Around is back with a new game throwing you into ancient China, fighting for the love of royalty, guards, and assassins. Now, the downside, the visuals get a bit blurry from time to time, and we still don't have a way to check affinity levels outside of replaying chapter endings. But if you enjoyed these live-action dating sims, it's an entertaining trek, and you get a bunch of behind-the-scenes footage to watch after you finish the endings. Reviews to Go rates Love Is All Around 2 for the Nintendo Switch an 8.5 out of 10. If you're interested in more content like this, check out my review of Knowledge or No Lady. And if you like the content, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.